She was at home when a flurry of gunshots rang out inside her garage. Miss Bess said she was sleeping but was awakened by the commotion. But by the time she got outside, the shooter had fled and Aline lay on the ground, still conscious but bullet-ridden. When she asked him who the shooter was, Miss Bess says Aline mentioned the name of someone she knew. In addition, she says an order from an attorney was in place, barring her daughter's lover from entering the premises which she and Aline shared. While declining to speak on camera, she did talk about her former lover, describing her common-law companion as a hard-working, straightforward and honest person who was supposed to start a new construction job this morning in Thorpe, St. James. She says Mr. Aline's mother is abroad and isn't taking the news of his death well. When contacted, Police Public Relations Officer Roland Cobbler confirmed the man was assisting police investigations. However, he neither confirmed nor denied that the man in question was known to the family. Police also could not confirm whether one of the men was on bail on a murder charge. Miss Bess says she will grieve her lover's death freely. However, she says the relationship with her daughter is likely to remain under some strain. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
It's costing the Transport Board a significant amount to repair the damage caused to buses each year. And if its minister had his way, bad-behaved children would be held responsible for the damage they cause.
It cost the Transport Board last year just over $15,000 to repair damage to buses. And Transport Minister Michael Lashley says evidence shows that 90% of that damage was caused by school children who were fighting. If he had his way, the minister says the students would be held accountable for the damage they cause.
After it's been reported, some parents come in and decided that they're going to pay Transport Board. But I have a different approach to it because, to my mind, is a criminal offence. It's criminal damage. So we must not open the floodgates that if there's a fight willfully among students and damage the property, that we must treat it with kid gloves. That is, that they could come in and pay the Transport Board. But we must enforce, and I support the member of St. Thomas, take the bus to the police station and let it be a police matter and deal with it.
On the issue of bus fares, Mr. Lashley says it cost the Ministry of Education about $6.9 million annually for those free rides, which he says were instituted to protect school children from the bad influences in the public service vehicles as well as the terminals. He says the Ministries of Transport and Education have been trying to fix those issues, starting with the terminals.
Ensure that you have stronger police presence, so that, and of course, through the Ministry of Education, we've asked them, look, we need to have your school attendance officers in the school, in the terminals, particularly Fair City Terminal and river terminals, to ensure that these school children can't be loitering that they in school.
Mr. Lashley says the board's marketing department has visited a number of schools to talk with PTAs, principals and others to come up with a code of conduct for the students when they travel on the buses. There are also talks to purchase 5 new buses which could be used for a dedicated school bus system. Those buses would be equipped with cameras for security purposes. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
The Education Minister has admitted that, in his opinion, on the use of cell phones and other technology in schools has changed, and he is now ready to embrace its use. Minister Ronald Jones says a policy on technology has gone before various stakeholders like principals, teachers and parent associations for comment. He told the House of Assembly their recommendations have been incorporated into the new policy. Minister Jones says one of his concerns in the past was that people assumed all children would be able to responsibly handle the technology once it is put in their hands.
The new policy seeks to codify a particular position which would allow the use of technology in school for learning, for research, for communication. And I am also aware that there are parents who work across the length and breadth of Barbados who need to be in contact with their children, particularly after 3. if they're delayed, if they're... I've become fully aware of that, and therefore I've accommodated within the emerging policies that kind of view, that kind of thinking.
Mr. Jones says the policy will require parents and students to take responsibility for using technology.
And schools will have to say, and parents, because I'm not eliminating parents from the mix, to our students, I'm going to sign, because in those policies, both student and parent signs to observe the policy and the dictates of the policy. I'm sorry I don't have one here, because I didn't realize this was going to come up. But these are some of the... I affix my signature to this because I support and agree to this policy. If there is a breach of this policy, then you will become accountable.
Opposition St. Michael North MP Ronald Toppin wants to know when the Education Ministry will reveal its policy on the use of cell phones in schools. He says he fully supports it since there are many benefits to be gained. Mr. Toppin says government stands to be the biggest beneficiary, noting it could save money on the purchase of computers and other related equipment.
Parents have to be brought on board, because when students are away from school and they spend more time off school premises than on school premises, their parents theoretically and actually have more control of them, and it is about instilling values in children and ensuring that they know the proper use to which things should be put, they know the dangerous uses that can be put to them, and they're educated by their parents as well as to why they should stay away from the negative aspects of technology that has to form part of the educational process going forward.
Minister of Commerce Donville Innes is warning drivers they may be responsible for the cost of replacing streetlights damaged in accidents. Mr. Innes says while government is committed to maintaining and improving the network of streetlights along the country's highways, they cannot be expected to foot the bill in such instances.
Every car on the highway must have insurance, and insurance companies must pay the bills. I assume that the Ministry of Public Works do pursue this, but I like road users to remember that this is a cost that they're going to have to pick up, because the state can't keep picking up these costs all the time. And sometimes you hit one pole, my understanding, then it looks out the light in quite a distance to the highway. And my view is that we get them fixed quickly, and the culprit should foot the entire bill.
The Ministry of Health is developing regulations to limit advertising by fast food providers to children. Health Minister John Boyce says it's part of the ministry's efforts to tackle childhood obesity and create a healthier society in general.
There are a number of fast food agents who provide some form of gifts for our primary schools especially, but I'm afraid some of the advertisement associated with the book covers, etc., are not acceptable to the Ministry of Health, given our program on childhood obesity. So as we roll out our strategy on childhood obesity over the next couple of months or so, you can expect that we will be challenging these representations that are not part of this program.
Minister Boyce says school vendors will also have to fall in line with the efforts to provide healthier options for the nation's students.
And this kind of regulation must also attend to the vendors who provide snacks in and around our schools. And again, we will have to get our vendors to understand that their offerings must meet the kind of healthy standard that is associated with a healthy population.
MP for St. Michael East, Trevor Prescott, is pleading for an upgrade of the Belmont Primary School. The school is located in the constituency Prescott represents.
It is a school that at present its capacity is over 400, and it is hardly as big as some people's dining room. I feel that we need at least to improve on the physical plan, or else give us a new plan. And the other danger in that school is that most of the children from the Bell and Lickridge village, a heavy concentration in that area, the other social reality is that the parents are extremely poor. And as I told you before, they cannot add in any way to what is being offered at the school. They just got to hope that the results at the level plus would be the best that they can be.
Opposition MP Cynthia Ford has chided Social Care Minister Steve Blackett, who's condemned the Barbados Labour Party for allowing a 13-year-old teenager on the platform after a recent march. She wants Mr. Blackett to pay more attention to what she described as the real issues surrounding children in Barbados.
A lot of our children are still being molested. Many of them are being physically, emotionally, sexually abused. Many are abandoned. Our children are on the streets at night very late because some parents do not understand their roles, and I don't know why the Child Care Board is not carrying out its duties in the way all the time. Yes, there are workers there. I'm not targeting any worker.
The ruling Democratic Labour Party has made its stance clear that the Barbados Revenue Authority should not have data on Barbadians' medical conditions. This is in response to a story published in a section of the media where Barbados Labour Party St. Philip North candidate Dr. Sonia Brown said the idea of an officer of the BRA having access to the most intimate information of a person's medical condition is wrong. Now, Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says he has spoken to the Revenue Commissioner, who is not aware that any such thing was done. He says audits of pharmacies have and will continue as is possible under law. He adds that it is entirely possible for such audits to be conducted without having access to anyone's personal medical information, noting that access would not be necessary. Minister Sinclair says an invoice and receipt for payment on a prescription does not carry patient names. Okay, we'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 to sign up to Digicel today.
Need affordable motor insurance? Get up to 30% off plus additional discounts for new and used vehicles. Call 436-6200 or log on to beacon.co.tt. Where you need us, when you need us.
Yo, one to them. Yo, it's your boy Ricky Diesel. Boom, we have the girls in a capital. Shizzle. Friday, March 31st. Give me soca. Bacchanal on the beach is gonna be crazy. Boom, and I'm gonna be there. Freaky girl that we love. Y'all bend up. You thing on fire. Boom, boom. You thing on fire. Y'all bend on you thing on fire. Freaky girls. Give me soca. Bacchanal on the beach. I'm gonna be there. Crazy.
98.1 The One is a proud sponsor of Gimme Soca.
Churches that play loud music could find themselves before the courts. This was revealed at a panel discussion held at the Cave Hill Wesleyan Holiness Church. Sharika Griffith has that story.
The issue of whether churches should be allowed to carry on loud services has always been a discussion point for Barbadians. Depending on who you talk to, will determine whether you hear an argument for or against it. A pastor, an environmentalist, and a law enforcer made up the panel chosen to discuss this controversial matter. Police Inspector David Lewis says if any entity, including a church, is found guilty of causing a public disturbance, charges can be laid.
If complaints are made to the police and the matter is being investigated and persons come forward and give statements to that effect, that person can be placed before the court on a common law for being a nuisance to society.
The audience also heard from Shana McAllister of the Environmental Protection Department. She reminded that even if only one individual complains, the EPD has a responsibility to investigate.
The fact remains that their enjoyment or their disgust at the music or whatever it is that is being played, whatever it is that they're hearing, depends on their perception, and that's still subjective, which is why when we approach it, we have to be as objective as possible.
Agreed.
So that's why we just take the reading. So regardless of if it's coming from a Christian church or it's coming from some other activity, we take the levels, we will measure the sound levels, and then we'll compare it to the standard.
Executive member of the Barbados Evangelical Association, Stephen Gittins, says the church's actions should create peace and not conflict.
If it can be proven, I speak for the Barbados Evangelical Association here, if it can be proven that churches are making excessive noise, then they have to be spoken to. There's no getting around that. But I would hate to think that in 2017 we would have a situation where churches will be making noise that will be creating conflict for people. I don't think so.
The panelists and audience also expressed a desire to see other churches holding similar discussions. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Renewable energy is taking root in homes across Barbados, and one local company is leading the charge in providing solutions to bring the island on board. More from Lorna Jones.
With a government's oil import bill reaching as high as $400 million annually, the focus is on renewable energy as a sustainable alternative. Light-emitting diode or LED lighting is a viable option in lowering environmental and financial costs. LED Illuminations Inc. is one local company on the forefront of providing LED lighting solutions and have opened a new showroom designed to assist customers with their specific needs. Sales and marketing representative Tracy Catlin says people need to be educated about the benefits.
Once you really make them realize that it's not as expensive as they think, and then the added benefits of reduction in usage in terms of your power and energy, they're gradually coming around to that. And I think it's primarily through educating Barbadians, making them more aware.
Managing Director Joshua Hunt says interest is growing across the region, especially in Dominica and St. Lucia, where they also operate.
People are generally interested in the LED products because they're realizing that it's not only being beneficial in their pockets, but it's a better quality light. You can read better compared to the old incandescent or the halogen bulbs, and all of these things people are coming towards and understanding that these things is something that you need to do.
Commerce Minister Donville Innes says while government is leading by example through retrofitting many of their buildings, more can be done at the individual level.
Whilst we focus on reducing the costs or the source of energy, many more Barbadians can focus on energy conservation, for example. So when you look at the bulbs that we use in our homes, and the fact that the old fluorescent or incandescent bulbs use so much energy, simple things like changing your bulbs can make a fundamental difference.
Mr. Innes says all Barbadians should get on board with renewable energy. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
Alexandra students are now more aware of the skills they'll need to be successful entrepreneurs. It comes as the school collaborated with its Parents Teachers Association to host its inaugural Business Expo. Here's Rianne Phillips.
17-year-old student Damon Boyce was just one of the 20 exhibitors gathered in the school's hall for the Business Expo. He used the event to promote his 4-year-old business, Beverages by Damon. And he already has plans to develop it further.
My plans are to expand to sell to local retailers or even on a larger scale like hotels and other restaurants as time goes by, and that's it.
So far, his products have been a hit with his peers.
I like the drinks. I didn't really have sorrel, but I like some of the rest. It's good as well.
Sorrel tastes extremely good. Like that's some of the best sorrel I had in the world. It tastes real good.
The drinks are delicious and he's a very nice student.
The event also allows students to find out more about businesses operating in Spike style.
We hope that the students would get a chance to see the faces behind some of the businesses they do know and the businesses that they do not know about that exist, that they will get a chance to interact with the owners, ask questions, maybe if they're thinking of going into entrepreneurship or even the area that is displayed here today, they can ask questions and get some valuable information on those things.
Organizers have already started planning for next year's expo and intend to make it bigger and better.
The disabled community in Barbados is continuing its drive for equality and awareness. And this time, they're inviting everyone to walk a mile in their shoes. In a more literal sense, Lorna Jones reports.
The Barbados National Organization of the Disabled is calling for Barbadians to walk a mile in their shoes. Their fundraising walk is on March 25th, and they're inviting you to come blindfolded or on crutches to feel what it's like for them. President of Barnard, Cobra Ashby, says people with disabilities just want to have the same opportunities as the able-bodied. In fact, a major focus is a program preparing school leavers for the world of work.
It has been quite successful in that in the past 3 years we have seen 79 individuals attending this workshop, and 16 of those went on 6 to 8 weeks internship.
Barnard is hoping to raise $30,000 from the walk, which will go towards their social welfare programs and transportation.
Amputations are happening on a regular basis, and we need these accessible vehicles. For instance, now it is unfair that the average person can pay $2 to get from point A to point B on the public transport, and the disabled has to pay the charge of what a taxi would charge to get from the same destination. Sometimes it'd be $30, $40, as high as $60 to get to the same destination.
Entertainers DJ Kashi and Stabby are lending their support to Barnard's efforts.
So I'm thinking enough is being done. There's a lot of talk and not a lot of action, a lot of people really putting up enough. So I think it's only fair that we actually step up. Those are in the public eye, that we step up, and let everyone know that we're serious about this here.
It was easy to say yes, because to hear now about the taxi and that kind of stuff, honestly, that kind of even a little peeved about that too still. So it's like, Barbados, we asking you to come out in your numbers, we asking you to support.
The walk will start at 6 a.m. and will go from the Garrison Clock Tower to Independence Square. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
Getting around will now be easier for an elderly St. Michael amputee thanks to a charitable donation. Founder of Community Services for the Disadvantaged, Desmond Hoyt, says the primary goal of the organization is to lend assistance to those in need.
The organization goes out there and raise funds to assist persons that are less fortunate in the community. So this is one of our first projects here that we're going to run off here in the city of Bridgetown, and we will carry our projects throughout different communities, like giving out walkers, wheelchairs, assisting families in finance.
The group presented a grateful Clyde Rowe with a walker to assist with his movements. While expressing his thanks for the kind gesture, Mr. Rowe also voiced his desire to see the group helping others.
Getting around, my getting around and things, so I really thank the organization, and I hope that God will help them to carry out the work to a greater degree.
Some of the biggest names in the local music industry will hit the stage this weekend at the Frank Colomer Hall. It's for the Mosaic 4 in Full Circle show, which is being hosted in aid of culture and sport at the Harrison College.
Baby, I've known you for a long, long time. I never thought that we would find.
Cover Drive, upcoming artist Kisa, and the Harrison College Band are among those on the list for this weekend's show, and organizers are promising it will be very exciting. On Sunday, it will be the turn of the seasoned artists to grace the stage for the Mosaic 4 Gala Night concert. It will also include a segment paying tribute to the late musician Adrian Boo Husbands. Among them, Rosemary Phillips, Smokey Burt, 2 Mile Hill, Adonijah, Kid Sight, Punka, PJ, Black Pawn, and Adrian Green.
It's going to be vibey, it's going to be relaxed, more intimate than like the Brandon music that you would get usually. And I think it's going to be a good contrast to some of the other music that's happening which will be bigger bands on the same night. So we're going to have a little intimate session. Some Barbadian music that you will be familiar with, but it's going to be different, and then some of our original music as well.
There's a lot of exciting music with the Harrison College Big Band. It's really lovely. I'm going to do some big tunes, Shirley Bassey, Adele. So come on out and support this wonderful event for a good cause.
Both shows start at 7 p.m. Brianne Phillips, CBC News.
After the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across our region.